Suffice it to say, it has begun, and it would only be fitting for us to recognize a gentleman who, in many ways, brought St. Louis and China together. And he's a gentleman who has worked with China, and his dad has worked with China for many, many years. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank and acknowledge Stephen Perry, the chairman of the 48 Group Club based in London, who has brought us together and has worked with our colleagues in China and has worked with us here and the Hub Commission in his absence. Roger Shapiro has come here from London Export, his colleague. And Roger, would you stand and be acknowledged on Stephen's behalf? It was said when Stephen's father opened China to the West in 1953 that they were the icebreakers. And I'd like to think that what we've witnessed here today is another chapter of icebreaking on behalf of China, and in this case, Missouri and St. Louis. So we're pleased for that. And my Mandarin is not probably what it should be, but I'm going to try. Jin Yang Go Fei Wang Men Shang Jing. The arch welcomes the soaring golden swallow. There is risk in acknowledging particular people when there's so many important people in one group, but we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge several individuals and give them a round of applause for their great work. And it started in March of 2008 when the big idea began in terms of a first trip to Beijing and to Shanghai. And our two senators led that trip at the time, and one of them is here today and the other is going to join us tonight. Senator Kit Bond, who I know is with us. Kit? And subsequently, Senator Blunt has joined this effort. Our companies in this region have been tremendously supportive of this effort. And one of them who has a very substantial presence in China is Peabody Energy. And I'd like to recognize Cardin Sumner, who is here on behalf of his company. And he's standing in the back here. They have been tremendously supportive of us from the very beginning. A gentleman who has worked tirelessly on this project and who had an unexpected family illness just developed this afternoon and couldn't be with us, but has been just an extraordinary leader in this project is Ed Monser, the president of Emerson, and he really deserves great credit. We've had a legislative effort to accompany this effort, and the gentleman who began the effort from the legislative perspective with what we have affectionately called the Erythropolis is Senator Eric Schmidt. Eric, I know you're here. Eric? He was recognized today at the World Trade Center luncheon, and on behalf of the Midwestern China Hub Commission, ably led by our chairman, Mike Jones. Mike? And we have seen partnerships emerge through this project in the course of the development of the project, including the development of two important leadership organizations in our community. And representing both of them here today is Alex Lee, representing the Missouri Asian American Bar Association and the China Chamber of Commerce from St. Louis. Eric? There's Eric. Thank you. And for those of you who could see out onto the runway, we had our pilots welcomed formally to Lambert International Airport by a team of children presenting them flowers. And I'd like to thank Michael and Thomas Fan, who are fraternal twins, age 11, and the sons of Guang Wei Fan, who's a professor at Maryville University, and Nicole Tong, age 10, daughter of Bing Tong, who is an IT leader at MasterCard. Michael, Thomas, and Nicole are students in the Rockwood School District. Let's give them a round of applause. And a special round of applause for the gentleman who flew that Boeing 777 here and have landed and started the Midwest China Hub here at Lambert. Please have our pilots stand and take a round of applause. Governor Nixon was originally planning to join us, but with all of the pending issues in Jefferson City with the legislature, which are still pending, which is good news, we will see him this evening, but we're pleased to have representing the governor here today, Dr. Mike Nitzel, the governor's senior policy advisor. Mike. And now I would like to call on several individuals for remarks befitting this important occasion. A gentleman who has been leading this effort on the city's behalf, took that very first trip in 2008 to China, has been back a number of times, went back and met with the heads of each airline in China in March of a year ago, and has continued to be a tremendous advocate of this project. Please join me in welcoming to the podium for words of welcome, Mayor Francis Lang.
Well, thank you, Dick. Good afternoon, everyone. And first of all, I just want to thank Dick and the Regional Chamber and the entire staff for all your efforts to help make today a reality. I'm here to join with many St. Louisans. I can tell you all of St. Louis is celebrating with us today. With my good friend Charlie Dooley, County Executive, and a lot of other elected and appointed officials, business leaders, and appointed representatives throughout St. Louis and citizens to celebrate the very first flight of a China cargo route between Shanghai and St. Louis. Of course, we are very honored to have our special guests that are here visiting us from China. Mr. Jia from the CAAC, thank you so much for being here, honoring us with your presence, and for all your assistance. Jeffrey Yang, who is the Consul General from Chicago, has joined us, who we've worked with very closely on this effort. Mr. He from the Chinese Embassy, representing the ambassador. Mr. Gao from China Cargo is here with us as well. And we also have Mr. Zhang from China Eastern. And there are so many other guests and people who we have with us today that are too many to recognize, but I will tell you that we have also labor leaders and other business leaders as well. You know, this is the start of what could be a big thing for St. Louis and a big thing for Shanghai. Something that can create good paying jobs for St. Louisans and new business opportunities for Shanghai. Something that can attract new investment and business opportunities in Missouri by creating a link from this airport to the rest of the world. Something that could attract both international and domestic companies to build and assemble their products right here in St. Louis. Something that will help China Cargo expand its international market share. St. Louis has historically been the center of trade in America. The founders of St. Louis settled here because we are right at the confluence of two rivers. We are in the Midwest of America. We are the gateway to the West of expansion because of our location. We are a railroad hub. The first interstate highway runs through our state. The first flight across the Atlantic wasn't called the Spirit of St. Louis by accident. The people who came before us showed vision, dedication, and courage. They were smart enough to take full advantage of our central location and the connections that we have with the rest of the country. That's why we are here today. But instead of just the rest of the country, we're here connecting to the rest of the world. We start today with one flight. Thanks to the work of Emerson, particularly Ed Monser, we know that there are enough American exporters who will use this route to justify 3 flights a week in just a short time in the near future. And I know that Eric Schmidt and John Deal and others are working hard to get the right legislation passed in Jefferson City to show us the actual value of this opportunity to the world. It can be something even bigger and stronger. The opportunity for us is real, but we have to choose to seize it, and we have to choose to seize it together. We are celebrating a good start today. What a beautiful sight here at Lambert Airport, a China cargo plane right here at Lambert. But we know, as a community together, we still need to work hard to make this a credible, a viable, a long-term sustainable hub that will be mutually beneficial to the people of Missouri and St. Louis and to the people of Shanghai and China. We are committed to continue to make that happen. I am committed to this route to benefit the citizens of both countries. Again, we are starting small, but I believe that together we can build something big. Thank all of you for your support, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor. I did a shout out for Eric. I should have mentioned that John Deal will be with us later this evening, and John Deal and Eric have been tireless in their efforts on behalf of the legislative support of this. And I'd also acknowledge we have a number of elected officials and particularly several members of the legislature here. If I could ask them to stand to be acknowledged. Robin, I know there are other representatives here, to give a round of applause to members of our legislature. And a shout out that is so deserved. We would not be here without their vision. This project was conceived as an opportunity for Missouri and St. Louis and China by 2 entrepreneurs who have worked in this community for years in an innovative way. Paul McKee and Steve Stone brought this idea to the city, to the state, to our senators, and it's here because of their vision. They're here today, and we should give them a big round of applause for their leadership. We talk about partnerships in this project, and the airport is owned by the city, and the land adjacent is the county. The mayor and the county executive have worked as partners on this project and on other projects, and this is just the beginning. Please join me in welcoming for words on behalf of St. Louis County, County Executive Charlie Dooley. Charlie?
Thank you, Dick. Let me say good afternoon to all of you. I'm extremely happy to be here. This is really a great day. No question in my mind. To all our dignitaries and to Susan Carlson, our Assistant Secretary, we are really happy to see everybody here. This is a great opportunity for us, for St. Louis region, to reposition ourselves for the 21st century. And somebody said, Charlie, well, how many jobs does this mean? I do not know. But I do know this. You can't start unless you get the first plane. We got the first plane today. In conclusion, let me say this. We talk about the big idea. What I'm going to say today is, this is the big promise. It starts today. And let me tell you something, my friends. We have a challenge ahead of us. There's no question about it. But if we want St. Louis to be positioned differently, in the 21st century, we need to work together as a team, as a region, as a state. This is something that we cannot afford to fail. China has made their obligation to us. It's up to us now to continue that opportunity. So on behalf of St. Louis region, I say congratulations, welcome, welcome, and welcome, and let's get the job started. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Several of us referred to Ed Monser in the course of our comments, and I know, but for the circumstances of his mom's illness, he would be here today, this afternoon. But he gave a stellar speech at a luncheon that many of us had the opportunity to hear. He reminded us on the point that Charlie just made of jobs and of economics and opportunity. There are 200,000 jobs in Memphis that are directly a function of FedEx. 1 in every 4 jobs in Memphis, in the region, is attributable to that cargo hub. There are over 500,000 jobs associated with cargo at O'Hare, more than in downtown Chicago. We intend to put St. Louis into that equation and put tens of thousands of jobs and billions of dollars investment around this hub, and this today is just the beginning of it. It is my pleasure to, at this point, call on a gentleman to whom we have referred and acknowledged and thanked for his presence, an important individual in the partnership that we're here today celebrating between China and St. Louis and Lambert. The Vice Administrator of the General Administration of the Civil Aviation of China, the CAAC, Mr. Shah. Mr. Shah, please.
Thank you, Chairman. 我们怀着十分高兴的心情来到了圣路易斯。
With a very happy heart that we have come to St. Louis.
你们的州长、市长以及参议员、众议员和圣路易斯的有识之士多次来到中国商谈这件事。
And many a times a delegation came from St. Louis, from Missouri to China, including your governor, your mayors, your senators, congressmen, and many other people.
包括美国的运输部也十分关注这件事情。今天副部长苏塞考恩女士特地从华盛顿来到圣路易斯参加这个仪式。
And DOT is also show their care for this route, and we have today with us Miss Colin from Washington. She has come all the way to join us here.
同样，中国政府和我们国家的领导人，以及我们驻美国大使馆的官员，对这件事情也非常的关注。
And equally, we have support and care received from the Chinese government, the leading officials there, also from the embassy in Washington.
CAC 和中国货运公司为开通这条航线做了大量的准备工作。
CAAC and China Cargo have done a lot of preparatory work for the opening of this route.
因此，从中国的东部，一架货运飞机来到美国的中部，这是中美两国友好的象征。
And this symbols the friendship between our two countries with the arrival of an airplane in the heartland of the United States from the east coast of China.
这条航线开通之后，今天下午跟州长跟市长一起在进行商谈，要把这条航线继续的维持下去，需要方方面面的我们来共同努力。
And I had a good discussion with the mayor this afternoon, and we want to work together and also together with many parties, and together we will nurture and grow this route.
CAC 将会从政策上，包括从资金上给予这条航线的补贴。
And CAAC is prepared to render its support in the terms of policy, in terms of financial aid to this route.
为了中美两国人民的友谊，为了中美双方经贸的更加的往来，为了圣路易斯市和中国更好的连接，我们一起携手共进。
And let's work together for the advancement of the relation between our two countries, for the enhancement of the economic relations between us, and also for a closer tie between St. Louis and China.
谢谢大家。
Thank you very much.
The operation here at Lambert, ably directed by a woman with 21 years. She was a baby when she started in aviation, Rhonda Lambert-St, and her whole team. Dave, she's got a She is affectionately called on our trips to China by our Chinese colleagues, the elegant airport director from St. Louis. And something that they've noticed is that Lambert and her team have the highest completion record, or one of the highest completion records, meaning on-time arrivals and departures in the United States.
And I'm so much pleased to be able to witness the historical moment to link Shanghai and St. Louis Lambert Airport together. And this is great. Today we have the air cargo, and tomorrow probably we'll bring the passenger planes. And here I want to recognize Mr. Shen Zhejiang, who is the Director General of Eastern China, or China Eastern Aviation Administration. And also want to recognize Mr. Li Deren, who is the President of Shanghai Airport Authorization Authority. Please, both of you. And they are both the most important delegates with Deputy Administrator Xia Xinhua, and both of them and all of them are very old friends of mine. And I feel so happy and so much feel that rewarded, not only for me, but also for the people in Midwest, for the people in Missouri, and especially people in St. Louis. And for so much time that we have expected, the dream has turned to truth. And we just now recognize, and we just now witnessed the China cargo landed here. And it means there will be a new history agenda to be opened, because China have been so much related to the U.S. development too. And we both countries work together in many fields, especially in economic, in social development, in world peacekeeping, and many, many fields. And China's trade volume with U.S. has been reached almost $400 billion US. So one or two or three or multi-air cargo hub are not enough. We need more. We need Lambert Airport to be the new hub, to be the China cargo hub. And this will be creating a closer tie between U.S., between China and the U.S. And further, hopefully, not in the long, we're gonna link Lambert Airport to South America, to Africa, to the rest of the world, and with China. And I think this will also facilitate the Chinese investors to come over to Midwest and create more job opportunities, to create more market consumptions. And everyone have noticed and recognized the domestic consumption in China has been increasing very much and rapidly in the last few years. And it will in the future.
And all this will create the great momentum and opportunities for U.S. to export to China. So we need more capacity on air cargo freighters. And also we need more capacities for passenger flights. So let's witness the real successful beginning, and also let's join hands, work together for a well done China hub. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for those wonderful words. And we thank our crew as they get some rest. And the final spokesperson from our colleagues in China that I'm pleased to welcome, who has been introduced earlier, here representing the ambassador, is Councillor He, and he is based in Washington. He has a great deal of background on this project and has been a big supporter, as has his office been, of the China Hub project. Mr. He.
It's such a huge privilege and a surprise for me to witness and celebrate the totally new page in the relationship between China and the United States. And here I'm coming to deliver a message from His Excellency Zhang Yeshui, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the People's Republic of China to the United States of America. Here is my ambassador's message. I'm delighted to learn that the first China-St. Louis cargo air route will be officially launched on September 23rd, 2011. As a result of a close collaboration between China Cargo Airlines of China Eastern and its partners in Missouri. I would like to extend my warmest congratulations. The opening of the route marks a milestone in the Midwest China Cargo Hub project, the Big Idea, which is a visionary initiative designed to foster deeper business ties and trade exchanges between China and the Midwest. The regular freight flights will bring more American products to the Chinese people while serving as a gateway for Chinese businesses when they explore investment opportunities in this part of the United States. It is also my hope that the Chinese businesses coming and operating here will contribute to the local communities by increasing the economic activities and creating jobs. This will be a truly win-win partnership in the long run. I sincerely appreciate the commitment and the persistent efforts from all those who have worked so hard to make today's achievements possible, including those from China, Missouri, and the 48 Group Club in London. Going forward, I wish the China-St. Louis Air Route every success in its operation and look forward to a deeper and flourishing partnership between China, St. Louis, and the state of Missouri. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. He, and please send regards to the ambassador. I know he's at the UN today meeting with Secretary Clinton, and we look forward to welcoming him to St. Louis in person. Great. Jeffrey made mention of our future opportunity to go beyond cargo to passenger, and not to put the pressure on our next speaker, but we know that that's a longer process, but we also recognize that there's an opportunity here. The opportunity and we've actually talked about it as the mayor led the delegation in March a year ago in talking to several of the carriers. And by the way, we took 175 of our members on China Eastern to China the summer before last and had great service. So thank you. Thank you for a great passenger experience. We have about, Rhonda, 90 Southwest flights a day that could hook up with any Chinese carrier to distribute them, so that's a little plug. But here today to join this recognition from the federal level, a partner that is a very important partner to this airport and to this city and state, the Assistant Secretary of Aviation and International Affairs for the U.S. Department of Transportation, Susan Curlin. Assistant Secretary Curlin.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here, and I bring greetings from the United States Department of Transportation Secretary, Mr. Ray LaHood. And I'm very pleased to be here with my friends and colleagues from China, Mr. Jia, Consul General Yang, and Councilor He. It's great to be here and to celebrate with Lambert-St. Louis International Airport, who I've known for many, many years in many different capacities. Mayor Slade, County Executive Dooley, representatives from the Governor's Office. And the importance of this occasion to St. Louis and the state of Missouri is clear by how many federal representatives you have and how many state elected officials you have here. Former Senator Bond, I know there are representatives here from Congressman Carnahan and Aiken's offices, and there's also been mention of the state senators here as well. So this is a huge deal, and I'm really very, very delighted and pleased to be asked to participate in it today. On the eve of next week's U.S.-China Aviation Summit, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to remark on the importance of the U.S.-China relationship and to express our hopes for its future. Our two countries have made substantial progress since 2004 in opening up our aviation markets, including, for example, the elimination of all restrictions on the number of cargo carriers, and we're seeing that today in the market, and the frequency of operations. Liberalization of that relationship has provided significant benefits for many stakeholders on both sides of the Pacific, as is evidenced by the milestone that we are celebrating here today. Not only has it meant increased growth opportunities for carriers such as China Cargo, but it has also provided shippers and companies in both the U.S. and China with greater convenience, choice, and value. For governments, including local governments like St. Louis, it is translated into increased economic development and access to global supply chains. The U.S.-China aviation relationship is of critical importance to us all. Undeniably, the U.S.-China cargo and passenger markets are projected to continue to grow substantially in the years to come. Therefore, both of us, the U.S. and China, must ensure that both U.S. and Chinese carriers can respond to unmet demand, whether it's an airline adding new cargo or passenger flights, or working with a partner to deepen cooperative relationships through code sharing. And there we're talking about your St. Louis suggestion. It is important that we remove as many of these remaining barriers as soon as possible so as not to impede these future developments. We are convinced that the best way to ensure that we accomplish our mutual goals is to maintain and continue our dialogues that encourages government and industry collaboration in order to create well-informed solutions. And that is why I am especially pleased to be here and to be able to participate in the U.S.-China Aviation Summit in Washington next week. So once again, let me express my congratulations to China Cargo, to Lambert-St. Louis Airport, to St. Louis, to Missouri, to my colleagues and friends from China, and to thank you for including me here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for those great words. Well, our anchor man in this celebration is an important player. We we intend to build a lot around this airport and in this state. Not too many weeks ago, our community had the opportunity to announce a big win over about 24 other states for a 1,000-job clean energy manufacturer that's locating not far from here in Hazelwood. And part of the reason it happened was our partners in labor joined their colleagues in business to recruit this company. And part of the reason that the China Hub project has had the support and the traction it has had is that labor and business have joined with our elected officials. And I'm pleased to call on a gentleman who's been a big supporter in each of those areas, Jeff Abusi, who is the Executive Secretary and the leader of the St. Louis Building and Construction Trade Council. Jeff?
Thank you. To our Chinese delegation that's here with us today, welcome to St. Louis. And I know everybody has worked tirelessly to try to make this first flight happen today, and it's witnessed by right behind me on this airfield. But I think one thing that is very, very important is to recognize partnerships. And the building and construction industry, along with the Missouri AFL-CIO, the St. Louis Labor Council, recognizes that we are not in business unless you're in business. So those are some of the things that we look forward to do. Like Dick mentioned, we are in the construction business of building warehouses and infrastructure, and in the operations of plants and transportation. So we look forward to a long-standing relationship with all of you. We commend all our legislative leaders and people that were so tirelessly working on this project and had it become a reality today.